Alright, we've got the metal we're going to use for our tool in the lathe. I've faced off and center drilled this in. We have a live center on it so that we can help keep it steady as we're removing metal. The cutter I'm going to use is a indexable cutter. This particular one will remove heavy amounts of material at a time, so we could quickly go from 1 3/8 of an inch down to 5/8 of an inch. One of the things I did notice while we were facing this off is this is very mild steel. It's going to be a challenge to use it as a cutter. We will definitely have to try to harden it or heat treat it. Perhaps just case hardening it with Caseonite will work well enough to make a cutter out of it. Alright, we've gotten the shaft for our cutter cut down to, let's see, right now we're at about 948 thousandths of an inch. We still have quite a ways to go. I decided to take a shortcut and use a 3/4 inch collet on it so we don't have as much metal to remove. So we'll use the 3/4 inch R8 collet. And I'm going to take the whole shaft down to 3/4 of an inch, and then once we get it down that far, we'll polish it. I'll probably take it down. I'll try to take it down to about 376, polish it to 375. Then we'll turn it around and we'll start working on the head of the cutter itself. Alright, we're at 751 thousandths of an inch. It's pretty smooth. Now we'll just take some sandpaper and smooth it on out. 751 and a half. Let's see how smooth we can get it with this. If this piece of steel wasn't a mild piece of steel to begin with, it wouldn't be so easy to polish this up and get it to look as nice as it does already. Well, we're at 750 and a half. 751, 750 and a half, 751. Alright, I'm going to sand a little more over here, and then I think we'll have the shaft where we want it. Alright, that's a bright orange. I'd like it to be brighter. We'll try to go with that. The cutter, when we actually form the cutter, the piece that's going to be doing all the cutting will be smaller and it'll be easier to maintain an orange hot. Alright, I have a file here with a good cutting edge on it. Put a piece of paper behind our cutter shank to hopefully force the camera to focus in on our piece we're working on and not the background. Let's see if we can't test this. It's definitely harder, but the file still cuts. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is set this up in a lathe, and we'll start working it with the ball cutter until we have a radius of 5/46 on the end of our cutter. Alright, what I'm going to do now is measure from the center line on my tool post to the front of my cutter 546 thousandths. I want to first of all go ahead and thank YouTube user Canatus Life for commenting on my ball turning tool post upload, and he asked me if my inserts were a positive rake or negative rake, because if they were negative rake I needed to angle the cutter downward at towards the tip. To be honest with you, I didn't know, so I went ahead and I researched these cutters that I had purchased off eBay 8-9 years ago. Turns out they are negative rake inserts, so I brazed a piece of steel on the back of our tool holder here, our cutter seat, and that angled the tip down about 15 to 20 degrees, and that should allow it to cut a little bit easier. Alright, I just wanted to give him a shout out and thank him for that. I really appreciate input I get on my videos, so those of you who are thinking about commenting or can think of a better way for me to do something, go ahead and comment, because I do use that information and I do appreciate it. Alright, I'm going to lock this down at 548 thousandths, which is pretty close. I've got a little bit more to go. I'm running the end of the caliper, my digital caliper, up to the end of the cutter. I've loosened up the screws here, all 3 screws, so I need to just bump this down a little bit to get a little bit closer. Alright, that's pretty daggone close right there. Alright, so we're going to go with that. Alright, that looks pretty nice. What we're going to do now is put that in a milling machine and mill it off, and we'll be, after we get it all cut down, we'll be ready for heat treat. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on our mill. Now I'm going to take a ball end mill and dish out our cutter here along the edge that's going to be doing the cutting. One of the things we're going to have to do is cut it back from basically here over. Everything on the bottom side we're going to have to take down about a 1/16 of an inch. That'll give us clearance room for this cutting edge. Alright, here's what our cutter looks like so far. Using the 1/2 inch ball end mill, I went and carefully took and dish this out right here all along this edge here. This is going to be our cutting edge. I did that to let us be able to sharpen it. If I were to try to sharpen it on the outside edge, it's going to reduce the diameter of our cutter. So I dished it out, and hopefully I'll be able to use a Kratex wheel, my Dremel, if I have to sharpen it up in here along this edge. Plus that clearance cut should maybe help it cut a little bit better. Alright, what I want to do now is this blackened portion here, I want to take and use my hand grinder and grind all of that away. I want to grind that down to a depth of about a 1/16 of an inch to give our cutting tool some clearance. Alright, now that we've got that centered, what we're going to do is I'm going to turn on the milling machine, run the end mill down just till we touch the surface of our block. Alright, then I'm going to set the digital readout on my quill, and we're going to go down 500 thousandths of an inch. We want a total depth of 546, so we'll go down 500, maybe a little bit less, and we'll finish it off with our custom made cutter. Alright, we just touched it. Alright, now we're going to go in 500 thousandths. Okay, right there we went exactly 1/2 of an inch. We'll use our custom cutter to finish the hole. This is a 3/4 inch end mill we're using. It's a round end mill. Our hole, of course, is going to be 1 inch. And what we've done, as I stated earlier, is we've got less metal to hog out. We're 1/4 of an inch deep. Apply some more cutting fluid. a bit more, and as soon as the tip of our cutter started contacting the bottom of the hole, the surface finish of our hole cleaned up real nice. It's beautiful now. I've got some more cutting fluid in there. We are 400 thousandths of an inch deep. We need to go 146 thousandths more. Right now we're at 1/2 inch with our cutter. We need to go 546, or actually we need to go 46 thousandths of an inch deeper. It doesn't seem like a lot, but believe me, it is as large of a cutting surface as we are now cutting. Alright, that's good enough right there. Let's go ahead and take this first half of our mold block out of the vise here, and we'll take a look at it and see how it came out. Alright, I want to show you guys something. On our mold block here, if you look in the center, we have a round circle there at the bottom of our mold block. I knew exactly when I saw it what caused that, and I should have taken the measures to prevent that beforehand, and I didn't. I didn't think it through well enough. Let me show you exactly what is wrong with our cutter and why that happened. Alright, take a look at our cutter here. I have the cutter set up against a dead center in our lathe, and you can see how much farther it protrudes the tip of our cutter beyond the center. I need to take my sander now, I need to mark that, and I need to remove probably 15 thousandths of an inch from the tip of our cutter here. I need to move it back this direction right here, and that will give us a much cleaner hole. The tip of our cutter is basically not on center, and that's what's causing the problem. I'll go ahead and correct that, and our next 3 blocks will not have that round hole in the center, and it'll produce a nicer finish. But this is I guess an R&D project, as you might call it. This is the very first one I've ever made. We're both learning this together, myself and my YouTube friends. So let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and modify that. I'm not going to show that. I'm just going to mark it and sand it till I remove that material, and we'll start on our next mold block. And I'll do basically the same thing we did before. As I learned this cutter, I'm learning how much it can take, how fast I can feed it. I don't want to push it. Take a quick look at that, show you the finish on this hole. Alright, there's our mold block. It's a little hot, so I'm holding it with a paper towel. But the finish on the hole is perfect. We'll go ahead and make our 4th block. And then I'm going to cut the remainder of our metal up and make one more mold block. If our cutter holds out after we make our fourth block, we'll have 3 complete molds then. Alright, here's our mold halves. Each one came out perfectly, as close as I needed. This is the first set we made, this is the second set, and this is the third set. Our cutter worked great. It did not wear down, it did not get to the point that I had to even try to resharpen it. It did leave a small lip of material here on our mold block, and I think the reason for that is as it cut down and it pushed that metal out. If you look closely, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not here under the camera, but there is a spot where when I dished this out with the 3/8 inch ball end mill, I did not come close to the edge over here, and I think that left a dull spot, which is why on these blocks it kind of left a little bit of ridge of metal around the hole as it finished the hole. That's no big deal. What I'll do is I'll take this razor scraper. It holds a old-fashioned type flat razor blade in it. I'll scrape around those the circumference of these holes, clean that ridge off, and then we'll start turning our alignment ball we're going to use to align our halves.